Hello, guys. Welcome. Welcome to another episode of Ripster Daily Trade Recaps and Teachings. All right, guys. So another big bullish continuation day, the second day after the Trump was elected, and very bullish day until FOMC went into consolidation, and into till FOMC it went into consolidation, and once the FOMC was done, even then it went into a little breakout mode. Anyways, a lot to discuss today. Lot of plays, a lot of market plays that went crazy, a lot of earning plays that we have to discuss. Solid day overall. We had one loser, and we'll discuss the winners and how we did in the community today. So before I start, let's do a quick introduction. So all these recaps and all these teachings, any recaps and teachings I do are mostly from anything I share on Twitter, anything I share on X or YouTube, or anything we discuss in our community. We trade a repeatable system. My repeatable system, Ripster EMA Clouds, is used by thousands of traders across the world to trade consistently and make profits in the market with minimal losses and bigger profits. We trade repeatable setups, be it a day trade, swing trade, or investment. We have very repeatable setups that I show you. I've been showing you those setups for years, not only on YouTube, on Twitter X. How we trade that, how we do those setups. That's what we recap and try to learn different kind of those setups. Every morning, me and my team, we create a game plan for the day. Today's game plan, usually we have news, breakout, watch, upgrades, downgrades, earnings, but today it was all about earnings mostly. You can see the top earning plays: APP, Qualcomm, LYFT, ARM, MELI, among others. So those were some of our top earning plays we were watching. We were watching MRNA, Bros as well. I'll try to recap few of those, not all, but I'll try to recap the ones that I focused on. So, and we also share what we call as our day 2, day 3 strategy. So our day 2, day 3 strategy today was Coin and MSTR were one of our main day 2 winners there. Even Tesla was a day 2 setup if you talk about it. So we'll talk about that as well. You can see the top setups were day 2 setups there. JPM was a day 2 short as well. Anyways, this is another day-to-day strategy. We provide these levels to our community members. They can use the Ripster EMA Cloud repeatable system to trade consistently with these levels provided. In addition to that, we also provide market levels for Psych, QQQ, Apple, Microsoft, AMD, all the market stocks that move with the market, that you can again use these support resistance levels to trade Psych, QQQ, and EMA Clouds. You will see that, for example, AMD, NVDA, Tesla, a lot of these broke the resistance pivots and they were long with the Ripster Clouds today. And of course, we also have our crypto levels, levels for Coin, MSTR, CLSK, Mara. Today Coin MSTR did a midday breakout. We'll recap that as well. I'm usually on a voice in my community in the first few hours of the market open, and if needed, I'm usually on the voice all day. If needed, if this market is really hot, but I'm really active because most of the money we make is in the first few hours, most of our trades. And then we have our midday setups. We play our morning 9:30 setups, 10 a.m. setups, repeatable concepts. So we work with just repeatable concepts. And then, of course, we have midday, end of the day setups. We have all the option scanners, stock scanners, news boards, audio alerts, support resistance alerts, everything we have in our community. One-stop shop for everyone to trade consistently and don't need to go anywhere else. That being introduction, let's start. All right, let's start. So we're going to start with talking about the market, SPY QQQ this morning. So let's look at the bigger picture on SPY QQQs here. Let's see what was happening today. So SPY today, again, was over yesterday highs, and QQQs again over yesterday highs, because if you look at QQQs is doing an all-time high breakouts. So you have to look at the bigger picture, what's going on. So market is just still very strong, and we have this breakout. So when I saw the strength on the QQQs in the morning, right here, that's when I told everyone on QQQ that let's look at here. So that said breakout long triggered QQQ, and I gave a first target of 510s to everyone, and that was our first target. And then we sold some into 10 a.m., then sold more 1/3 into 511 target. Then we just keep selling as it goes up. You can see my time spent stamped comments. But finally, when it started to pull down, then I told everybody you can get out. And then we have our Powell speech, and then things went on the chop. There was this breakout after Powell as well. SPY was a long as well, but QQQ was much better long than SPY. You can see what was happening. The good thing was at 10 a.m. we did not see any rejections. The 10 a.m. actually was a continuation, so it was a 10 a.m. hold and go, so that was good. So that gave us confidence, and because QQQ SPY was strong, we could play many other setups that were going nicely as well. And you understand that we are at all-time high resistance. Market is super bullish, so it's a very likely that market is going to continue to push higher and higher. So that was why we took that long. I just want to show you how the 511 calls did today. So let's look at that on the 511 calls. You see that 511 calls from the morning, they went from 90 cents. They went to all the way to 2.4, right? So that gives you good risk reward, 100% on the long side. If you sold half at, let's say, 100%, and you kept another half, and then you sold that at 50%, you just continuously take it off as it goes. So anyways, that was our QQQ long today. Let's look at the next one. So next one we're going to look at is let's see which one. Let's start with Tesla. We can start with Tesla, and then we look at some other names. All right, so let's look at Tesla first. Let's look at Tesla. So Tesla was, yesterday, if you see, this is pretty simple 1 hour breakout. Nothing crazy about Tesla. You can see that how this 1 hour channel is setting up, right? So you see that this is a channel that Tesla is setting up, and the trade on Tesla is pretty straightforward here. If we look at here, it's a 10-minute chart. You see that, right? 290, 290, 290. So we were watching for this 290 breakout on Tesla for a while, and as soon as it broke out of 290, right, then I told everybody breakout long, starters okay. The first target I gave was 295, and then we met our 295 target. Second target I gave was 298. We broke under this 512s, and that's when we took the lotos off, but then we reclaimed, right? So Tesla, we reclaimed it. So we reclaim. So let's say you see this reclaim. So you get back in, we get back in, and we try to trade that as well. So tomorrow our watch is of a 300 breakout, but it has been a crazy move in last 2 days. I mean, Tesla is up from what, 252s all the way to $50 move. This is just a crazy 2-day move on Tesla, just amazing. So but today's setup on Tesla, you can see the timestamp guidance pretty clear here. You can go back and see the levels on Tesla that we shared in the pre-market right here, 288.49, 299.59, pretty clear level. Very easy setup, breakout, textbook, nothing too surprising about it or too difficult about it. So that was our Tesla trade. Let's go to the next one. So let's talk about Meta now. So talking about Meta, so Meta was today the trade because of the flow. Meta trade was all about the flow. When I saw flow coming in on Ghost board and other flow screeners that we have, that was a lot of flow, and that's when I told that yes, we can. And on top of it, we were breaking out of our levels, 575.43, 576. So we were breaking out of the levels. We were over the 2021 MTF clouds with so much flow. I told everybody in the community, yes, you can long Meta, and I gave the 588 first target, and we met the 588 target later in the day. So it was very easy setup. It was based upon flow. If you missed the first run, you could add these pullbacks. Just add starters and and even if this flag breakout, I mentioned this flag breakout as well. The same flag breakout that I mentioned on QQQs here as well before the breakout. So you trade that breakout, and even that would give you from 587 all the way to 595. So meta long for us from the forwarding 576 all the way to 592 was a beautiful trade in the community. Very easy trade. Ripster Cloud held all day. So let's talk about Amazon now. So for Amazon, it was again, day two after the yesterday's 200 psychological breakout. I even talked about swinging Amazon, and I gave the targets of 210. I gave the target yesterday. Even this morning, I told everyone that Amazon is going to hit 210. And you can see in this morning, I put on a video, on a short video on Amazon trade, or you can watch the yesterday's recap. I discussed it in detail. But anyways, Amazon was 208, 208.50. That was 208, 250 was over two levels. They break out, you take Amazon long. The Tigers I gave a 210, then next target I gave was 212. We met our 212 targets, but then it broke 512, so you had to cut it. But at the bigger picture level, Amazon is just a beautiful weekly trade, weekly breakout. We have seen these breakouts before in Apple. When Apple broke out of 200, they went to 237. Can Amazon do the same thing? Maybe, we don't know, we'll see. But that was a different kind of breakout on Apple. Not different kind, but Apple structures are different. But this was a similar breakout. That's why it shows a continued strength. I guided everybody through the flow. Today was a lot about reading the option flow. And I talked about, there was crazy amount of flows coming in on Amazon all day. So that helped with Amazon, Tesla, Meta, all was with the flow. And another one was there with the. So NVIDIA was another one which was with the flow today. There was also a lot of traders traded in the community because just there was insane amount of flow coming in, and we were targeting 150 today. We didn't get that, but it was definitely a good mover in the morning. But the best trades these are the marketplace. These are dependent on market indices. The best marketplace was obvious, of course, Tesla, Meta were the top ones, and then of course Amazon was an easy one, and then NVIDIA was a decent player there as well. AMD was a good as well. On AMD, I mentioned this 1 hour chart swing setup. You see when the clouds turn on AMD, it became bullish. And you can see that how AMD ran today as well. I mentioned AMD in the community as well. It was pretty nice day on all the market-based names today because we are just so bullish, right? And we just need to identify the bullish trend. Our Ripster clouds labels were bullish all day. 3450 clouds are bullish. Every cloud is bullish. There's no short in the market. Nobody's shorting any market play, right? Definitely nothing. No indices stocks, no Max 7s. Nobody's shorting that. So that was really a good one here on all of them. All right, let's discuss some of our earning plays today. Let's start with Qualcomm. So Qualcomm was a gap fill short. If I show you, it was, very easy, very simple gap fill short. You can see that this was the gap right here. It already broke the 3450 EMA Cloud, so the system already told us it's bearish. It's if I go to the pre-market guidance on Qualcomm, I said gap fill under 181, long over it. I already said that, right? So when the 181 breaks, you broke the 181, there is no long, and the gap fill on Qualcomm went on to pay us all the way under the MTF clouds from 171, from the 180s, 178s. Even if you hit it right at 10 a.m. bear flag, you still made a good money on, the puts on Qualcomm ran as well. If you didn't trade the short, you could do the puts on Qualcomm, which we can see here. Let me see. I'm going to show you that. Let's look at, we want to check 180 puts. Let's see how the 180 puts did there. So, so you see that. Let's see. So the 180 puts went from like $2 all the way to $8, right? So you can see that it was a 300% move because the stock moved $10. So you can understand how much the move there was. If you want to look at the lottos, if you want to look at the 175 lottos, that also moved. They didn't have enough volume, but they moved from like $1 to all the way to $4. $4. They were like 300% there on the puts. All right, let's go to the next one. So next one, we're going to look at Zillow. So Zillow was a long, breaking up 52 highs, and that was a long idea in the morning. Z or ZG. This was on our game plan. Zillow. Bullish buys to long the pullbacks. I gave that planning right in the pre-market, 63 and 64 fives. So you see that was the pre-market plan. And as soon as I saw the strength, I told everybody it's a long. Didn't really need to tell anybody anything else. My community knows all these setups. And Zillow kind of stalled in a between, but held Ripster 3512 clouds and then rallied all the way to 74 from the morning calls of 69s all the way to 73. So it was an all-day winner for us on Zillow. So let's talk about a loser here. So VST, we had a VST. VST were looking to long on the pullbacks, but when the VST broke 512, so I told exit the longs. Amateur move is failing, so you took a loss of $2-3 per share there and get out. It did bounce later in the day, but 3450 call setup. You could have traded that. Some traders did that in the community, traded that VST call, but the main play was main play in the morning didn't really work. So that was a loser for us. Let's go to the next one. So another one we're going to look at is MELI. MELI is usually pretty good company. It's the first time it disappointed. Its earning was not really what was expected. Otherwise, MELI always beats. It's always beat. Its EPS growth was 9%, revenue growth was 41%. Usually its growth is still high, but it's not what was expected, because MELI, you see, it's been running crazy. And today disappointed. So the game plan in the pre-market on MELI was short under 190.20, 512 calls over. It did not push over 190.20. It was a short right away. You hit the lotos right away short on MELI. And my first target was 1800. It started to make a bear flag and then faded all day as well there. That was on stock like this. You could trade. Let's just look at 1800 lotos. So even the 1800 lotos, not enough volume, but they went from like $6 all the way to 40-50 bucks. So even if you got it at $10, you just need one contract and it pays you well. So that was so much. It's usually very illiquid, but you can see the MELI short all the way. That was like $100 per share, $150 per share short. You can see the timestamp guidance. You can see my pre-market planning. No hindsight. Beautiful trade for the community. Let's go to the next one. Yeah, another one we're going to discuss is Lilly. So Lilly was a long today. It was a day too long. You remember it sold off yesterday. So Lilly was a day too long over 3450. Watch for long. It falls there. Was an easy setup. It kind of pulled back, but it held the 512s. Then rest of day it pushed as well. Lilly, there was a good trade, good trade on that. A lot of traders traded that in the community on the Lilly once it started to push over that level and pushed over MTF. Lilly is still on watch. Lilly never disappoints. It's always a good stock to buy on these dip levels. It's always pays well. Let's go to the next one. Let's look at some other setups from our watch list. DUOL was on our game plan this morning. Let's see what was the game plan on DUOL. So DUOL was short under 300, long over it, and you see that it bounced right from 300. So you long it over MTF, it ran $20 from that 300 level. So these are the concepts I show you. We don't I'm not trading all these setups, right? I was trading Tesla and Meta, but a lot of traders trade what they like, what their preference is. But these are the setups that work. Look what I said in the pre-market on DUOL, and look at the curl from the clouds, and you could easily make money on DUOL. Pretty easy there. All right, let's look at ARM next. So ARM was also on our earning plays. Let's see the game plan watch. So ARM was only long if 137 holds. So that's what I told everyone. And right off from the bat, it held 137. It pushed over all the MTF clouds, and then it continued. It broke out the second MTF cloud, and then it was on the way. It was a lot of guidance by the traders on the floor. A lot of traders did really good on ARM today. Since morning, ABCD did a lot of good guidance on ARM. So really proud of that on ARM guidance by ABCD. So it was really nice on ARM. So I'm just gonna recap a little bit of coin and MSTR here. So coin and MSTR. both of them were day two setups. If if you see their coin was a top day two setup. And if I look at the levels I gave you or in the community, so you see that, right? This is the level, exactly the level I gave. Look here, 243.56, 241.75, 241.75, right? This area is the level I gave. Never fold it. And when it does this, this is where you long, and you long it for the day two setup. This is the Ripster day two long setup. You can watch my webinar on this if you don't understand that. And same was for MSTR. It broke that level. Cloud curl pushed over yesterday highs, and it became a long. And BTC is still a strong, right? So anyways, guys, see how tomorrow goes. Just too crazy bullish day. I mean, we can't just run crazy every day. We're gonna have a chop and sideways day soon. I don't know when it would be, but so yeah. So let's go to the next one. So next one we're going to look at is MRNA. So MRNA was bearish buys to short under 56. That was the plan on MRNA, and you see that it rejected 56 and forwarded all day for $6 fade. So you see that how easy it was to short this one, because the plan I gave to short under 56, because this was the MTF cloud here, and it rejected and all the way faded downwards. So that was a good one as well. And I think, did I cover LYFT loser? So I don't remember. Okay, let's see. Yeah. So LYFT was loser today. I mean, not really loser. It was I actually gave LYFT long quite early, right at the open, but then it couldn't just cross 19 bucks, right? It ran from 18 bucks to 19 bucks, but then it failed 512s and failed. So kind of a midday loser there. It did meet my 19 target almost, but didn't really give what we really wanted. All right, so that's it for today, guys. Thank you. See you tomorrow. Take care. Bye bye.